Hi everyone, welcome back to Dream in English. My name is Miss Morales and I'm your English teacher for this channel. So far, we've talked about the importance of being able to identify grammatical errors and how in order for us to be able to identify these errors, there is some prior knowledge we need to have. So far, we've been analyzing the following paragraph and really trying to understand all the errors found within this paragraph. So far in our lessons, we've talked about words with silent letters, as well as the comparative and superlative form of adjectives. In our previous lesson, we talked about common improper nouns, and in this lesson, we're going to be talking about the irregular plural forms of nouns. This is going to help us understand why foot is misspelled in our paragraph. Okay, let's get started. What is a plural noun? In order for us to understand why foot is misspelled, we need to understand what is a plural noun. In order for us to do this, we need to understand the difference between singular and plural. When we refer to a singular thing, we are talking about one object or thing. When we talk about the plural, we're talking about multiple, more than one. A noun that names only one person, place, or thing is called a singular noun. A noun that names more than one person, place, or thing is called a plural noun. So when we refer to a singular noun, we are referring to one person, place, or thing. When we are referring to the plural noun, we are referring to more than one person, place, or thing. Like any grammatical concept, there are certain rules that we must learn and remember in order for us to spell the plural form correctly. This also applies when forming the plural nouns. In the next couple slides, we will review these rules together. For most nouns, we form the plural by simply adding an S at the end of the word. As we saw in our paragraph, foot is referring to a body part, our foot. When we want to form the plural, as we see here in our rule, for most nouns, we simply add an S. However, this is not always the case. And this is not the case with the word foot. But it is always good to remember that for most nouns, we simply add an S to form the plural. Nouns such as book. Book referring to a single book. Books referring to more than one. We can also say cat referring to one animal, or cats referring to more than one animal. In this case, the animal being a cat. We could say flower in the singular form, or flowers in the plural form. Now, when we come across singular nouns that end in an SH, CH, as, said, or X, we don't simply add an S. This is because of the sound at the end of those words. If we simply added an S, it would just elongate the ending of the word. And it would be very difficult for us to differentiate between the singular and the plural. When we come across words with these endings, we add an ES. For example, the plural of watch is not watched, it's watches. The plural form of dish is not dishes, it's dishes. The plural form of class is not class, it is classes. The plural form of buzz is not buzz, it is buzzes. The plural form of box is not box, it is boxes. As you see, we simply can't add an S at the end of every noun. It is important for us to know the ending of these nouns, and depending on the ending, whether or not it is at an S or at an ES. If the word ends in an SH, CH, S, Z, or X, in order to be able to differentiate between the singular and the plural, we have to add ES. Once again, that is because of the sound at the end of these words. Another important rule to remember is that if the singular noun ends in a consonant followed by a Y, we drop the Y and change it to I and add ES. This is very common when we come across words that end in a consonant followed by a Y. For example, baby becomes babies. We drop the Y, change it to an I, and add ES. Another example is butterfly. We drop the Y, change it to an I, and add ES. Now, the sound remains the same. Butterfly, butterflies. So, it is really just important for us to remember the rule, because it would be very simple for us to misspell it and just simply add an S at the end of these words. Another important rule to remember is that we add S if the singular noun ends in a vowel followed by a Y. So we only drop the Y, change it to I, and add ES if the word ends in a consonant followed by a Y. If it ends in a vowel followed by a Y, we simply add S. Such is the case with boy, the singular being boy, the plural being boys. Simply add an S if it ends in a vowel followed by a Y. Now, if the singular noun ends in a consonant followed by an O, we add ES. For example, hero, the plural form being heroes, ending ES. Or potato, the plural form being potatoes, we add ES. Now, this doesn't apply to every word ending in an O. There are some exceptions to these rules. You will come across these along your English journey, so don't worry. We don't have to remember every single word right now. But it is important for us to know the general rules surrounding most nouns that we come across. Okay, so let's look at nouns that end in an F or FE. Now, let's look at nouns that end in an F or FE. It is important for us to remember this rule because it doesn't follow any other type of grammatical rule we've learned before. When a word ends in an F or an FE, we drop the F or the FE and add VES. Let's take a look. For example, loaf. Loaf refers to a piece of bread, a whole entire piece of bread. We could say loaf, referring to the singular, loaves, referring to the plural. Another example would be woof. Woof ends in an F. If we wanted to say the plural form, we would say woofs. VES, woofs. If a word ends in FE, such as knife, we drop the FE, change it to VES, and say knives. Knife, referring to the singular, knives, referring to the plural. Another important word to remember on how to change it to the plural form is life. Life referring to an individual's life. Lives referring to a group of individuals. And we are talking about their life. Lives. the lives of many, my life. It is very, once again, I repeat, I think this is a word that we should all remember. Life, lives. Okay. Now, taking words that end in F and FE is the perfect transition into talking about irregular plural nouns. This is because they don't follow any other rule that we've kind of come across before. As I mentioned in a previous video, irregular, any context really, are words that we have to just simply remember and memorize and learn as we come across them. However, there are certain words that we can associate certain rules with in order for us to remember how to form the plural. Such is the case with nouns that have a double O in the singular form. When we want to form the plural, we change the double O to a double E. We change the vowel sound. So whenever we see a word that has a double O, we can remember to change it to a double E because we want to change the vowel sound. For example, tooth. Tooth being the singular, teeth being the plural. Or goose. Goose being the singular, geese being the plural. This leads us to the word found within our paragraph, foot. We don't form the plural form of foot by adding an S so that it reads foots. We change the vowel sound. We change the double O to a double E. So foot becomes feet. In our sentence, feet is being used as a unit of measurement. Some are as long as 100 feet. Feet, again, being a unit of measurement for which we are measuring a whale. Another important irregular word to remember is man. When we form the plural of men, we change the vowel. We change the A to an E. So man becomes men. This is the case with any compound word with the word man in it. So once again, singular, men, plural, men. Singular, woman, plural, woman. Singular, fireman, plural, firemen. Now, there are some plural forms which are the same whether they are singular or plural. Many of these words are animal related. For example, the plural of fish is fish. The plural of sheep is sheep. The plural of deer is deer. So when you're writing the plural form of an animal and you're not sure if the singular form changes when making it plural, it would be good to check your dictionary. Now, there are some words that change completely when we make the plural form, such as the case with child. Child referring to one young kid, child. If we wanted to refer to many little kids, we would say children. Singular being child, plural being children. We change the word. This is also the case for people, referring to one individual, person, plural being people. So one person or one individual, people, a collective group of individuals. Again, this is something I would take note of because it is important that we are able to differentiate whether we're talking about a single person or many individuals, a person or people. This is also the case with mouse, the singular form being mouse and the plural form being mice. Some words have no singular form. They're always plural. You might be wondering, how is that possible? Well, these words are often related to clothing items or tools. For example, pajamas. We don't say pajama. We always refer to pajamas in the plural form, even though we might be talking about one piece of clothing. Or pants. When we talk about pants, even though we're talking about a single piece of clothing, we still refer to it in the plural form. As well as scissors. Scissors is always plural. We never say scissor. Okay, guys, now I know that was a lot of information to take in, and there's a lot of rules associated with making singular nouns into plural nouns. So let's quickly review them together. Many singular nouns are made by adding an S or ES at the end of the word. It's important for us to remember that the ending of the word really tells us how the spelling of the word is going to be. So once again, remember whether the word ends in an SH, CH, S, Z, X, a vowel and a Y, a consonant and a Y, a consonant and an O. These are all going to help us be able to understand how to spell the plural form. It is important to remember that if a word ends in an F or an FE, we're going to drop the F or FE and add VES. So knife becomes knives. When looking at irregular plural forms, we simply have to just remember these words. We can remember that often the vowel sound changes. When we see a word with a double O, we know that we are going to change the vowel sound from an O to an E. Such is the cases with foot. Foot does not become foots, it becomes feet in the plural form. Man does not become mans, it becomes men in the plural form. Some words don't change in the plural form. Some words don't have a singular form. And some words change completely, such as person and people. Okay, that checks off one more grammatical concept and prior knowledge for which we have developed in order to be able to identify and understand the errors within our paragraph. Next time, we'll talk about punctuation. Okay, as always, I leave you with the challenge of making the plural form of the following words. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll see you next time.